are on the outside North Fork Road, which is outside the park. You do not need a vehicle pass. We're heading to Polebridge. The inside North Fork Road, you do need a vehicle recreation pass for Glacier National Park because it's taking you to Bowman Lake and Kitna Lake. But we are now headed into the Flathead National Forest, and we're on gravel road, so we're aired down. There actually was a small area that was paved because there were some private residences, I guess, for about 35 miles. So we went from crappy dirty dirt road to nice paved road back to crappy dirt road. But as you can see ahead, we're pulling into Polebridge Mercantile. We're going to have our second Huckleberry Bear Claw for vacation. We found out that Polebridge and the Coyoya Mercantile on the east side. Oh, that's funny. That just said, slow down, people are breathing, because dust is a 4-letter word. But they're owned by the same company, so they look very much the same, and they have the same bakery. So the Huckleberry Bear Claws on this side of the park and that on the east side are the same recipe. But that's okay, we're gonna eat one anyway. And there's a cool bar up here called the Northern Lights, so we're hoping to get maybe a good cheeseburger and a beer. All right, so we made it to Polebridge after months of planning. And we're trying to decide, what do we do first? Do we go have our Huckleberry Bear Claw, or do we stop and knock off some of the dust of the road by having a cold beer? Well, we decided the cold beer sounded best, so we went on into the Northern Lights Saloon and Grill. We had a couple beers. Tom had a bison burger, and I had, strangely enough, an ahi tuna bowl, which was amazing. And then we just chilled out in the courtyard and just had our cold beers and looked at the scenery and just kind of had a beautiful day. And then we decided to wander around a little bit more once we had our lunch, and just people milling around on a gorgeous sunny day. Found a cool food truck called the Sasquatch Grill. And of course, if you have a Sasquatch grill, you have to have some Sasquatch. And so we ran into a family of them just outside, strutting through the weeds. And beyond that, we just kind of walked around the backyard, which looked like they had like live entertainment probably during the day or night, and lots of different outbuildings and some cabins in the background, and a cool like fort that you could walk in and out of that looked like they might be doing some either events, or maybe it was just some place for kids to play. And then after that, it was time to go into the Mercantile and get those Huckleberry Bear Claws. So we bought some gifts for some friends and family and took 3 freshly baked Huckleberry Bear Claws home. And of course, you can't leave Polebridge without putting your sticker on the gas tank. Like and subscribe. So we're loaded up and heading out of Polebridge. Tom's putting our Huckleberry Bear Claws into the fridge for later. Here we're crossing the North Fork Flathead River, heading out of Flathead National Forest and into Glacier. Heading towards Bowman Lake, we've heard so much about. We planned on camping there, but since we didn't have we had a trailer and not just the Jeep, we couldn't. So one thing to remember when you're at the Bowman Lake, instead of bears, you also have to watch out for mountain lions. And of course, you can't leave a beautiful lake without putting your feet in it. So after we headed out of there, we were heading towards Flathead Lake. So we stopped at a mercantile, got some groceries, picked up the Wi-Fi, touched base with family, made some reservations, and went on into Hungry Horse, Montana.
Laundry stop, and we've got a whole hamper full of laundry and stuff that we did. But you know, that's a good thing. We're in what, Hungry Horse?
Yep, Hungry Horse, Montana.
Hungry
Just
Horse.
outside the west side of Glacier National Park.
Yeah, headed out of Glacier after a fantastic time there, and first stop was a laundry stop. So you know it's a good deal when you're on vacation long enough where you have to do laundry a couple of times. So
and we hit the grocery store.
And we hit the grocery store, restocked, and we're doing really good. So we're having a great time, having a lot of fun. We still got 5 days to go, right?
Yep. Next stop we're going to Finley Point on the Flathead Lake.
And then we're going to go from there.
Montana.
We're just going to do some sightseeing and some discoveries. So see you there.
So of course, while you're waiting for your laundry to dry, why not go eat more huckleberries? So here we are. We'd heard about the huckleberry patch, and we had to stop in and see what the local favorites were.
Amy,
What?
where we at?
We are at Finley Point State Park. It is on the Flathead Lake in Montana. There's a deer walking right next to the camp host right now. It's loaded with deer.
We've seen, what, 15 deer since we turned in here?
I think we keep saying the same one now, but supposedly there are 3 juvenile bears that the ranger called toddlers that did actually get mischievous and jump on somebody's tent, luckily during the day when she was out of it and at the bathroom or something.
Yeah, those juveniles, they got kicked away from their mom and they're out on their own, so they're kind of foraging and learning on their own, and they can be quite mischievous, so we want to keep an eye out with them. We got our bear spray with us, and we'll have that the whole time, just in case.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be a victim of mauling by a juvie bear.
You'd rather get eaten by a large adult-sized bear.
Yeah, if they're going to do the job, I want to do it.
Another one off to the right of the flag.
There's 2 deer.
So, Flathead Lake is over 126,000 square miles.
Square miles.
Square miles? I mean, it's huge. It's the second largest lake on the western side of the state, next to Alaska, not including Alaska.
It is a monster. We drove, I don't know what, 18 miles or more, and still had lake to go.
We are out on a peninsula off of the lake. There's 6 campgrounds, state park campgrounds on Flathead Lake. It's the lake is sort of managed by the Flathead Reservation, but this part is owned by the state of Montana.
And I think the reason she said that there were so many deer here was because it's on the reservation and there's no hunting here. So the deer just kind of roam, which is cool. They know where they're safe. So we got looks like we got a mom and a fawn here. She's still got spots on her. Yep, just hanging out. We're gonna go down to the lake and try to check out some of this gorgeous sunset and take a hike down here before we head back uphill. So we left out of Glacier National Park. We left out of Fish Creek this morning, and we stopped in Hungry Horse and did some laundry and got some groceries and did that. We spent probably an hour or 2. Yeah. Well, more than that, probably a couple hours there. We stopped and had a great lunch of
huckleberry patch.
the Huckleberry Patch, which included huckleberry ice cream
And huckleberry cream soda.
and
which
huckleberry cream soda, which
very
was
sweet.
huckleberry sugar. And Amy got a sugar fix, and that was about the end of that story. So yeah, that didn't go over so well for the Aimster, but it turned out nice. Then we hit the road, and of course, everywhere you looked here in Montana is just a beautiful, beautiful view. So that's what we did, and we are still on vacation, and we are still having a
blast. Why does that stump over there look like a bear? It's becoming the bewitching hour where everything looks like 6-foot chipmunks.
the shadow zone where everything looks like a predator. They do have cabins here. She did say that this was kind of a hidden gem because everybody, goes on what side of the...
I think they hit the north side. It's a lot more populated. It's got a lot more like shops and restaurants. But she was a lifelong resident of this area, also a veteran. She gave us a lot of insight on the area, and she even reserved us a first come first served spot in a few days that we're going to grab and stay here 3 nights instead too.
Yeah, because we were going to do 2 nights, and we had one night where we were kind of open. Couldn't get reservations, I think, something of that nature. And we were just going to go out in the woods and hang out and see what we could find. But this is pretty nice. It's nice and quiet. We have electric, so we've got a laundry project done. We've got a chance to recharge all the batteries, get everything charged back up, and go from there. So, yeah, it's nice and quiet. It's on the lake, so it's going to be a fun 3 days. We're going to go into Polson tomorrow and do some sightseeing, and we'll put that together for you guys
There's
too.
also a bison range, federal bison range that you can drive through. There's a hot springs that we might check out. There's lots of things that we can make this our base point, our base camp, and work away from.
Yeah, so we'll do that and see what we can come up with.
Yeah. Good morning from To Journey Overland. This is our 3rd day at Flathead Lake in Montana. We just moved sites. We were up top in a beautiful secluded spot up top of a hill. It's Finley Point Campground in Polson, Montana. But the park ranger was kind enough to let us know about this spot opening along the lake shore. So we're in spot 13. Beautiful lakefront view. Going to be a beautiful sunset and sunrise tomorrow. We've talked a little bit about Flathead Lake in other video earlier in this video, and it's a huge lake. We're just at the very southern tip of it. 126,000 acres. So we've had one pot of coffee and venturing on having the second one right now because we're kind of having a late breakfast once we got resituated. Tom is working on some breakfast for us, doing a omelet, putting together all the leftovers over the last few days. What should we name her? Daisy. Daisy? Daisy. Daisy deer. I guess she's a frequenter of this area.
That's got to be a first for me. That one to come in that close to not even bat an eye.
I'm filming her. tremendous breakfast. Why don't you explain to your to Journey followers what you've created this morning for us?
Well, just kind of I always like to clean up on what you have left over. You know, we had some mushrooms, red peppers, and it's a little bit of sausage, bacon, and then you had the wrap. So a bacon, lettuce, tomato wrap, which I used the meats and the cheeses from that. And we just kind of added 4 eggs to it and cooked her up real good, and kind of a decent, almost like I don't know what you call it.
Scramble?
Scramble?
Egg scramble?
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I'm not filming your face because Daisy is much too pretty to not watch. So.
I've never had a deer, honestly, close to camp or camping that came in just grazing.
This
But
is
that's-
protected land, right?
Yeah, it's
So
on
that's
the
why we think.
reservation. No hunting on this reservation, but we've seen a lot of deer, and man, I guess we've seen one close up.
I think she's moved out of camera view. You can catch her some more. No, she's kind of directly behind the camper now. So after we cleaned up breakfast, we found a high point on the island, on the peninsula, to do some drone work. So Tom put the drone up, and here's some shots over the beautiful Flathead Lake. Later on in the evening, we got a recommendation from some friends and the park ranger to go to the East Shore Bar and Grill. We sat out on the patio. Here's just a shot of the dining room, but we decided to go outdoors. It was a beautiful evening. Sun was setting behind us, and so we looked over the menu and looked at all the favorites and all the recommendations, one being the beef stroganoff, and since it's a smokehouse, also the prime rib. So I opted for the beef stroganoff. Tom got the prime rib. Later on, we even had a little friend come by looking for some scraps. So after a nice dinner, we went and sat and journaled and had a little bourbon while we enjoyed the sunset and hung out with a few friends that we met in the park from nearby city in Montana. Well, good morning. Who could not start your day off with maybe just a little more huckleberry? Tom made an amazing huckleberry French toast with eggs and sausage. Perfect way to start the morning. And again, if you liked our video, please like and subscribe. And as Tom always says, we'll talk to you later.